Today we're talking about the INFJ mind, how to finally accept and embrace your unique nature. INFJs have one thing in common. We love intensity. We love intensity of emotions. We love intensity of life. We love intensity of the extraordinary. We need that in order to feel alive. And you'll see this with INFJs all the time. You see it in the way they connect with others. You see it with INFJs needing strong emotional connections. You see this with INFJs needing to have something extraordinary. We all live and think in one way or another outside of the box. And this in itself makes us feel something. That's how our mind is structured. But if we don't accept this, if we don't embrace it and actually even go further than we've ever gone before, we're going to adapt this intensity onto situations that are not healthy for us. And these situations are holding us back and hurting us very often. So today we're going to talk about how to use that intensity in a better way. How we can use it in a way to, expand our horizon and just make our life explode in a positive way. Before we get started, remember, if you haven't done this so far, to download the new poster on the INFJ Epic Life formula. This is the basis of the INFJ Epic Life audio guide. So make sure you check it out so you can find out how to create that intensity in any area of your life. All the information you find in links in the description. Also, you'll find everything you want to know about the audio guide. I've always known I'm an intense person, but it doesn't come out like I see it with other personality types. I've talked to so many INFJs throughout the years. This channel has been up for 8 years, and I've been doing this full time for probably the last 5 years. So there's been a lot of connection and a lot of conversation and healing with other INFJs. And so this is something that I know to be true. I know that INFJs feel and experience this intensity, although it might not seem like this to others. To some people, we somehow feel too much, right? We feel like this is just this intense nature that comes with it and that makes other people uncomfortable. But it's not something we show just openly like that. We're not the person who gets loud at a party. We're not the person who, puts themselves in the center of any kind of situation and wants to make a scene. No, our intensity is actually seen in the more intimate relationships, in the more intimate situations. It's an intensity about how we see the world and how deep we're willing to go. Not so much how loud or how wide we want to go with our energy. So what are we going to do with this intensity? How are we going to use this as something that helps us to manifest a very good life instead of having a life that is full of pain? In most cases, we put this intensity into our relationships. And it's not just me who has experienced one-sided, intimacy and one-sided relationships where it's all on us, where we try to go deep with another person and it's just not happening. We want to go so deep and we want to go so intense so quickly because it makes us feel alive. And other types cannot do that. It just makes them uncomfortable. And don't think like, oh, poor me, because trust me, there are other areas where you cannot go as intensely as they could. Could you, go bungee jumping every day and do really scary physical things like maybe an ESTP could and live their life so outwardly boldly? Could you go and be so emotionally intense as an INFP or an ENFJ? No. I mean, of course, this is just generally speaking. Of course, there are certain situations where with certain types and in certain situations, this might work out. But generally, our intensity comes in a way of NI. It's our first function. And for other types, their intensity lies in their first function. So once we know that, what do we do with this? Well, instead of going and putting our intensity into situations that are not fruitful, and we all know that they are not because otherwise we would have been successful in those situations, we have to go a different route. And that's where the biggest challenges arise because we don't feel that there is a way out. We already feel I need this intensity and I'm putting it into my relationship or I'm putting it into my job or I'm putting it into, some little thing. And I do it very precisely because the alternative is actually much scarier. The alternative is, and that is actually what's going to make us happy, is to put that intensity into our life. to create a life altogether that is independent from one other person or one particular job or one situation. It is on us to decide, I'm going to live an intense life. I'm going to expand my mind. I'm going to live out of the norm, and I'm going to crush the boxes that I've put myself in. So how do we do this? Well, actually, it's two things. Number one, we have to learn to love ourselves. And this is, cliche, love yourself. Okay, great. It's so much more than that. When you love yourself, you actually are not waiting for others to love you. And that's a completely different scenario than, okay, I'm doing everything for you and I think you're wonderful and hopefully you will appreciate what I have to give. No, loving yourself is actually deciding that your future self deserves everything that you want. It's putting you first. It's deciding that no matter what you do for others, you're not doing it at the expense of your well-being. If you want to help others, you do this from a place of my cup of energy is overflowing and I'm giving to others through that. I want to have an intense life. I'm deciding that I'm going to have an intense life. And if it comes down to it, you rather have other people not like you than you not liking yourself. And this is where actually this whole thing connects to the second point. So on the first hand, it's really deciding that you're going to love yourself. And very often I've heard people, you just decide to be happy. You decide to, live an extraordinary life. No, it's not just, okay, I just write it down and I decide. No, it's steps. It's real world action that makes that happen. Right? So self-love is the one thing that has to be there first. You have to understand that you cannot wait for you to love yourself. You have to take actions that prove to you that you want to protect yourself. What has helped me a lot in this area is to really protect my inner child. So I took a picture of me as a little kid and I had it with me for the longest time when I made the biggest changes in my life. And I said, I'm protecting this child. I'm the parent to this child. And I'm not going to allow somebody around me to make this child suffer. Very often we think, I am the bigger person. It's okay for me to feel intensity because others are, using me or using my good nature. And I'm actually using my intensity to create a life where I just keep my head above water. No, we want to thrive. We don't want to survive. Right? So those actions will make the biggest difference. And the second point, and as I said, it's very connected, is to get to a place where you prove to yourself that you're proud of yourself. You prove that. You're not waiting for others to get it. You're not waiting for others to understand it. No. You know that you're living an extraordinary life. You know that you've made it. Really let that sink in. What would that mean for you? Very often, we're not even asking that question because it seems if we would ask that, we would recognize that we don't have it yet and therefore, we feel bad about ourselves. But I guarantee you, what you feel would make you feel like you've made it is different than what any other person thinks about themselves or about you. Not even other INFJs. This is so uniquely you. And we, for some reason, think everybody wants the same thing. No, it's not. You have to define what you want in your life. What would make you feel like you've made it? And then start taking action towards it, right? It's so much more important to be on a trajectory of the life that you want than what your current results are. Because you might have just gotten lucky. But the trajectory shows that, you're not going in a direction where your life is getting better. On the other hand, even if your life is not where you want it to be, but you're continuously taking steps towards the life you want, you are going to feel great right from the beginning because you're focusing on what makes you proud of yourself. You're keeping the promises you make to yourself. You're setting out to do things that maybe others won't be able to. You're actually proving what makes you so unique, what you're able to do. How often have you been in situations where you thought, oh, I could do all of those things, but I sort of don't feel like it? Or, what for? And you're not doing it because you think once I've achieved a certain level, I'm going to be happy. No, you're doing it because you're proving to yourself on a daily basis that first off, you love yourself and that's That's why you're taking those steps. And second of all, you're proving to yourself that you can. You are proud of yourself. You are getting to a place where you know you've made it, or you're making it happen. That is a feeling that nobody can take away from you. That is a feeling where your INFJ mind feels at peace. Because we want that intensity in our life. We need it. But we have also learned that we cannot just project it onto other people or need other people in order for this to work. Because nobody outside of you can live out this intensity to the extent that you can. This is for you. And we need to learn to project less and less. It is normal that we go there, but we can definitely take it to the next level. We can remove all of those borders and all of those boundaries that are there because of other people or because of situations and rules that are outside of what we want. We decide that this intensity that we so crave, that we so love, that makes our INFJ mind so unique, isn't going to be wasted on a couple of potential situations within a box. No. We're going to smash that box. We're going to get outside of that. And you do that by deciding you're going to protect your inner child. You're going to create a better life for yourself than you have so far. And you're going to prove to yourself just how proud of your achievements you actually are. Because the achievements that you choose are not based on some external thing that others think is amazing. No, you're choosing to do the things that make you you. And if that means that you step out of the career game and that you move to a small farmhouse somewhere in the mountains, then you have won. If that is what makes you feel alive, if that what makes you feel like you're being your authentic self, then it doesn't matter that for some others, this might look like you're giving up. You know that you did the actually braver thing. You did the thing that makes you feel alive. Whatever that kind of life is to you is uniquely you. There is no place where you can define this is right or this is wrong. And so many INFJs don't even know where to start. You don't need to know everything right now. What I tell my clients so often is, if you go up a mountain, even if it's the wrong mountain, but it's the best mountain you know at this moment, once you're at the top, you will have a better view. You will know what the next step is. You will know what the next best mountain is. And that way, you create a life which maybe look like, failure, but you're actually growing and becoming more of who you are. You live out this intensity. You live out in alignment with your INFJ mind. And all of those restrictions that have caused you to somehow feel delusional or that things are different in your mind than how it, plays out in reality, all of this will play together. And your life and your mind will be completely the same. If you don't know where to start, check out the 5 pillars. We have a poster on that. Check out the new poster on the INFJ Epic Life formula, because there you find out what kind of steps do I need to take in every one of those areas in order to actually grow, to feel that I am on the right trajectory. And if you say you're ready for the next step, you want to go even further, then get the audio guide and let's get it going. All the information you find in the links in the description. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then watch the video Why the INFJ's Intelligence Get Vastly Underestimated.